Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. CIG have just shown off the updated Idris M Frigate, both in an episode of Inside Star Citizen Tactical Capital, but also in-game with the Idris Wargame event. A lot of people weren't able to get involved with that event though because it appeared so rarely and/or because those Idrises were so hotly contested. CIG said they were able to get a load of feedback from the event though, and obviously they were able to show off the Idris in some form of style. The tour that they had in the latest Inside Star Citizen though was fantastic, and this video is just an excuse to show off some of that footage and sort of talk and ramble about it. So I'm going to chuck that footage up. I'm actually off in Manchester at Bar Citizen, and then I'm off to Leeds to do some house hunting. I've gone off on a tangent. But yeah, let's talk about the Idris. Now, I wonder if we are going to see other Idrises appear in game now that have that interior. Because obviously we can potentially fight them during the Xenothreat event or the Arlington Gang missions, stuff like that, right? So are those going to be updated immediately or really soon, or are they still going to sort of hold that back? The ship, though, the Idris M, the Idrises, they still require work, especially in regards to resource management. Maelstrom, which is the ship breakability system. Resource management's obviously engineering and physicalized components and the circuitry of ships. They've got multi-crew as well, sort of updates there. That all is needed before it is going to be a permanent addition for players to spawn and use in the persistent universe and potentially purchase. CIG said they are going to be getting the Idris P, M, and K kit in players' hands with Squadron 42's release. There's no hard date on that, though. Now, interestingly, the Idris M is pretty much never on sale, never available to buy. It's, I think it's part of some extremely expensive big packages, though, so it's very, very, very rare as a ship. There were a couple given away as prizes in the recent Idris Wargame event. I'm not sure if you'll be able to easily purchase them in-game because they're sort of military grade ship. You just have to get like a Idris P and then upgrade it to the Idris K, or get the railgun from the Idris M and then put it on the Idris P. There'll be things that you can basically make something similar to an Idris M, and you will be able to get them. They just might be quite hard. Also, the Idris M, more focused for Squadron 42, which is why they're working on it. The Idris P, that's the civilian version without the railgun. That was last on sale for $1,500. It does get sold occasionally at events like Fleet Week and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in waves and extreme and limited quantities, and at the Idris Wargame events as well now, it seems. So it's expensive and rare. I'd say get it in-game. Have no idea how much it's going to be once it's actually in-game to purchase in-game. But yeah, very much for that one, buy it in-game. You'll be able to capture them, but you'll also be able to buy them with your mates with in-game credits. Now, John Crew, vehicle art director, and Nathan Dearsley, previous vehicle art director, who have both been super involved with the creation of that ship and are both very awesome dudes, gave like a director's commentary in the Inside Star Citizen. Now, I remember Nathan showing off the Idris M and some of its interior in 2018 during an office tour. The ship has been a long time coming, and it's in a very good state. All the pictures you're seeing of the Idris are sort of like a lightly put together tour. It's completely undressed. It still needs work, so bear that in mind. But for those of us that have yet to board a Idris, which is most of us, it's a cool little tour. And some areas are going to look a bit bare bones, and obviously it's going to be a bit haphazardly put together. But the exterior of the Idris, especially in regards to materials and thrusters, has seen a lot of updates, though the shape has mostly remained the same. They have made it bigger to fit all of the rooms and corridors and its needs for Squadron 42. So originally they obviously went, let's concept the outer hull. Oh, this is how the ship's going to look. And then they went, oh, this is going to need some work because we need to fit in all these rooms. And even now, when they've expanded it and made it wider as well, so it's longer and wider, it's a tightly packed ship. It used to be so much, much thinner. They showed entry into the Idris's sort of landing deck hangar from the rear, because that's etiquette. That is how you approach the Idris. In Squadron 42, there's sort of two Gladius and an Argo MPU-V there, but you can actually fit sort of 3 fighter-sized ships in that. I'm sure lots of players will be putting just a ton of snubs or something like that. There is a compartment and sort of airlock to deploy an Argo MPU-V as well, sort of separate from that. The gravity generator room they showed. So this room looks absolutely amazing. It can close into like a cylinder. Apparently it used to be up some stairs and stuff, but very cool, big gravity generator. There are no dead ends on the ship. The corridors will take you to rooms or round to a junction. There is a constant flow, and this is partly due to the needs of FPS combat, because obviously this ship is going to be used in FPS combat scenarios and for Squadron 42, and obviously that will translate into the persistent universe. It's going to be a cool ship to have as a level in Arena Commander and just have missions on in the persistent universe. One side of the hangar, there's the sort of air traffic control room that overlooks it, the command center for that. On the other side of the hangar is the pilot ready area for them to grab gear and get into their ship quickly, or chuck their gear out after they return from their mission or whatever. The ship has a load of decks as well, apparently. Obviously a little sub-deck for the Argo MPUV. The main deck has most of the beating heart of the ship, though. From the sort of center of the ship, there's the mess hall, crew bunks, living area. There's some large solo rooms as well for pilots, which aren't sort of just the mass bunked area. They're about to grow in size as well, those sort of individual rooms. There's a captain's quarters. It's not huge, but that allows for the crew to come in and chat to the captain. There's a missile room, which they didn't show. It's not yet available. There's a lot of assets and parts of the ship that are modular, so you're going to see them being used in other appropriate Aegis ships. Obviously, the Hammerhead uses a lot of similar bits. The bigger the ship, the more modular it sort of has to be. This is the first true large capital ship that they started work on, and it inspired a load of other ships like the Hammerhead. They showed the med bay. They don't like to use right angles either. Sort of the shapeology and the sort of flow here is very interesting. There is a big manned turret on the front top of the ship, and there are some smaller escape pods around that for crew to get into. Corridors are marked port and starboard, and signage is very clear to help you navigate, because you can get lost on this, although it's probably not as much of an issue once you have the mini-map. There's a gym, if you're into that sort of thing. Towards the rear of the ship, there's apparently like 2 crossover points that go over the hangar, sort of walkways that are enclosed. There's a brig and prison and a security office. On the opposite side of the ship, there's an armory and shooting range. So the ship is reasonably asymmetrical in regards to its rooms, obviously, because it's going to have one room for certain things. There are some big shared escape pods and rafts as well, so separate from those other sort of smaller escape pods. There's a briefing room. It's a big ship. There's a lot going on. Above the rear of the hangar, there are 2 lifts that go down into the hangar, and this is going to be used mostly for servicing of vehicles in the hangar and bringing in supplies, that sort of stuff. Going into some of the more sensitive areas of the ship, there's a decontamination area that leads into the engine room. Extremely different feel in the engine room here. It's sort of inspired by CERN and the nuclear reactors in the real world. There are some massive capital-sized components around and redundancy for them as well. There were some big bulkheads they showed off that can close off sections of the ship in case of a breach or fire or a boarding. If someone boards your ship, you can close a load of the bulkheads. That's the sort of idea. The engine room and the bridge have a lot of defendable sort of points and choke points. There are stairs leading up to the bridge and an elevator that also takes you there. The bridge is very cool looking. So there's sort of these stations that flank the sides and a huge sort of view of space. It really does feel like a capital ship. I'm really excited for Squadron 42, but I'm also really excited to get this ship into the persistent universe. And as I said earlier, that should be when Squadron 42 releases. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more about that later at CitizenCon 2024, maybe. They didn't talk much about the railgun or anything like that. It was a bit of a shame. I was hoping they'd talk more about the armaments and sort of the plans for how good it is against anti-fighter and that sort of stuff. But it is effectively a small carrier that is a combat ship that can do patrols. It's good at defending against fighters. It's got a big railgun, which packs a ridiculous punch. But that's your sort of Idris ramble. I'm interested to know what you think of the Idris. Have you been actually able to board one and have a look around properly? As soon as we are able to do that, since we're able to do a proper tour, I will, because I would like to go around all the rooms in order and sort of show you the loops around the ship and all that sort of jazz. A really cool combat ship. Do you own one? Do you want to own one? How much do you think it's going to be in Alpha UEC in-game? Are you excited to be walking around this in Squadron 42? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me set you a riddle. You have a fox, a chicken, and a sack of corn, and you have to transport them from one side of the river to the other using a rowing boat. You can only carry one of these with you back and or forth. You can't leave the chicken and the fox together. That's mad. Nor can the chicken be left with the grain. Nor all three together without you. How do you do it? With nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Turn that bad boy on and just set your location to the other side of the river. Done. Not only do you have all your wares, but also you can get around regional content blocks, have your data encrypted for more security. It's easy to toggle on and off. It's non-invasive. It helps you with other riddles as well. If a sphinx is asking you, what goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? NordVPN, get it now from the links below. Every month we have a giveaway for a ship, and for March we are giving away an Argo raft with persistent hangars, freight elevators, and hauling missions coming with Alpha 3.23. What better way to experience that type of gameplay than with your own hauler? All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of our videos made during the month. A single comment per video counts, so get involved with watching all my videos for more chances to win. There's more details in the description. Also, I won't ask you to contact me on Telegram or anything like that. This is my only YouTube account I will use to talk in my comments as well. Occasionally there are scammers about. I don't want people to get tricked. A massive thank you to everyone that supports the channel, be that liking videos, commenting on them, sharing them. There are also people that go the extra mile. These are amazing people that become Patreons or use the join button under my YouTube videos to become channel members. You'll occasionally get some exclusive content, Discord roles, and behind the scenes posts. It's those people with those memberships that allow us to make the daily Star Citizen content that we do. So please consider joining those awesome folks as well. Thank you for watching until the very end. It is genuinely appreciated, and I hope you have a great March.